Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Muhammad, peace be upon him, was born in Mecca, Arabia, on Monday, 12 Rabi al-Awwal to August 8, 570. His mother, Amina, was the daughter of Wahb ibn Abdul Manaf of the Zahra family. His father, Abdullah, was the son of Abdul Muttalib. His genealogy has been traced to the noble house of Ishmael, the son of Prophet Abraham, in about the 40th descent. Muhammad's father died before his birth. Before he was 6 years old, his mother died, and the doubly orphaned Muhammad was put under the charge of his grandfather, Abdul Muttalib, who took the most tender care of him. But the old chief died 2 years afterwards. On his deathbed, he confided to his son Abu Talib the charge of the little orphan. When Muhammad was 12 years old, he accompanied his uncle Abu Talib on a mercantile journey to Syria, and they proceeded as far as Basra. The journey lasted for some months. It was at Basra that the Christian monk Hijrah met Muhammad. He is related to have said to Abu Talib, "Return with this boy and guard him against the hatred of the Jews, for a great career awaits your nephew." After this journey, the use of Muhammad seems to have been passed uneventfully, but all authorities agree in ascribing to him such correctness of manners and purity of morals as were rare among the people of Mecca. The fair character and the honorable bearing of the unobtrusive youth won the approbation of the citizens of Mecca, and by common consent he received the title of Al-Amin, the Faithful. In his early years, Muhammad was not free from the cares of life. He had to watch the flocks of his uncle, who, like the rest of the Bani Hashim, had lost the greater part of his wealth. Tribes frequenting the fair of Okad, the Arabian Olympia, and the immorality and skepticism of the Quraysh naturally caused feelings of pity and sorrow in the heart of the sensitive youth. Such scenes of social misery and religious degradation were characteristic of a depraved age. When Muhammad was 25 years old, he traveled once more to Syria as a factor of a noble and rich Qurayshi widow named Khadijah, and having proved himself faithful in the commercial interests of that lady, he was soon rewarded with her hand in marriage. This marriage proved fortunate and singularly happy. Khadijah was much the senior of her husband, but in spite of the disparity of age between them, the most tender devotion on both sides existed. This marriage gave him the loving heart of a woman, who was ever ready to console him in his despair and to keep alive within him the feeble, flickering flame of hope. When no man believed in him and the world appeared gloomy in his eyes. Until he reached 30 years of age, Muhammad was almost a stranger to the outside world. Since the death of his grandfather, authority in Mecca was divided among the 10 senators who constituted the governing body of the Arabian Commonwealth. There was no such accord among them as to ensure the safety of individual rights and property. Though family relations afforded some degree of protection to citizens, yet strangers were frequently exposed to persecution and oppression. In many cases they were robbed, not only of their goods, but even of their wives and daughters. At the instigation of the faithful Muhammad, an old league called the Federation of Feudal, that is, favors, was revived with the object of repressing lawlessness and defending every weak individual, whether Meccan or stranger, free or slave, against any wrong or oppression to which he might be the victim. Within the territories of Mecca, when Muhammad Muhammad reached 35 years, he settled by his judgment a grave dispute, which threatened to plunge the whole of Arabia into a fresh series of her oft-recurring wars. In rebuilding the sacred house of the Kaaba in AD 605, the question arose as to who should have the honor of raising the black stone, the most holy relic of that house, into its proper place. Each tribe claimed that honor. The senior citizen advised the disputants to accept for their arbitrator the first man to enter from a certain gate. The proposal was agreed upon, and the first man who entered the gate was Muhammad al-Amin. His advice satisfied all the contending parties. He ordered the stone to be placed on a piece of cloth, and each tribe to share the honor of lifting it up. By taking hold of a part of the cloth, the stone was thus deposited in its place, and the rebuilding of the house was completed without further interruption.